Hey guys, CoffinSkate here, and in this video I want to talk about some stuff that was shown off at the Nintendo Showcase, the Nintendo Partner Showcase. One thing in particular, but before we get to that, I figure I would also mention the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 trailer. That was finally got that trailer, and oh my god, it looks amazing, and Keanu Reeves sounds like he did a amazing job as Shadow the Hedgehog, so very much cannot wait for that movie. I will be watching it when it comes out. But during the Nintendo Showcase, which is what I'm going to talk about, not so much the showcase itself, but one particular announcement, which we'll get to. So there's some awesome as fuck announcements, like the Yakuza Kiwami game finally coming to Nintendo Switch, which is hype as hell. If you never played any of the Yakuza games, Kiwami is a amazing game. I absolutely loved it. I would start with Zero though, even though I haven't played Zero yet, but I would start with Zero because that's supposed to be a prequel. I hear that's like the best Yakuza game, but Kiwami is a awesome game. Highly recommend it. There's also a really cool Tetris collection that was announced. That looks really cool. As well as that multiplayer mode where you kind of go through like all the different eras of Tetris and just mess around with all the different mechanics of the different eras of Tetris. You have a remake of Trails in the Sky coming out. Really looking forward to that. I love the Cold Steel games, and I've been meaning to go back and play the past Trails games, but now with the Trails in the Sky remake coming out, I'll probably just wait for that. Hopefully it'll have like some of the mechanics that were introduced in later games, but that's besides the point. We got a release date for Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, November 22nd for the physical copy. I think it's supposed to be coming out next month for the digital version. But then we have something that blew my mind. Now, I didn't watch the showcase when it was live. I wish I did, but I found out about this when I woke up that morning. The Capcom Fighting Collection 2 was announced, and this had some stuff that there was one game on here that blew my mind, and I'll just quickly go through the list here. So you have Capcom Fighting Evolution, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, Project Justice, Plasma Sword Nightmare of Bilstein, Power Stone 1 and 2, which I was really excited about. Never played the Power Stone games, so that's very exciting for me. But the big one for me, uh, Capcom versus SNK is in this collection. Both games, both Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2 are in this collection. Oh my god. Let me tell you something. Now, to quickly go over my thoughts on all the other games, Capcom Fighting Evolution, I never played. I heard not so good things about it, but it's kind of cool that they're bringing this game back, for the sake of preservation. So, it may not be a good game, but, it's kind of cool to see that they are, bringing back something that, it just for preservation's sake. Makes me wonder if they were trying to find other games to put in this collection. This is like the only game they could think of, or what have you, or I don't know. Maybe it's the only one they could get. I don't fucking know. But Capcom Fighting Evolution is being added in this collection, which is interesting. Street Fighter Alpha 3. I mean, you can't go wrong with Street Fighter. I didn't play Alpha 3, so I don't have much to say on it. But you know, can't go wrong with more Street Fighter. Uh, Project Justice is supposed to be a follow-up to Rival Schools. Never played either game, but always down to try out something new. I've been wanting to play a lot more classic fighting games. So, Plasma Sword Nightmare of Bilstein. I apologize if I butchered that, but Plasma Sword is a follow-up to Star Gladiator, which I've also never played, but always down to try out what to me looks like another weapon fighter. So, yeah. And then Power Stone. Been wanting to try out the Power Stone games for a long while. Those games look like a hell of a lot of fun, especially the second one, which has 4-player multiplayer. Like, come on, a 3D sort of arena fighter. I don't know what to describe it, what else or how else to describe it, but it looks like a lot of fun. Always wanted to play these games ever since I found out about them. But Capcom vs. SNK, on the other hand, now I haven't played the second one all too much. So, but I will say it does look like a fun game. But the original Capcom versus SNK for me is a game I'm very nostalgic about. You know, I would watch my cousin play this when I was a kid. I'd watch my cousin play this game quite a bit, and I remember that intro so well. How it was like kind of going through space, going through like some sort of hyperspeed through space to all the way going down to this arena um, with some very uh, like hype sounding text. You got like an announcer saying the game's title and shit like that. You have the it's going to like this arena of some kind. Like I remember that intro very well, and the music for it slapping so hard. By the way, I found out there was a Hot Wheels commercial that used that same song, so I couldn't tell you what it is, but I'll I'll say what it is. I'll have like a text on screen somewhere saying what it was for, but yeah, there was a Hot Wheels commercial that used that same song. So, little fun fact for you. um, but uh, yeah, so Capcom versus SNK. Now, I would watch my cousin play the original PlayStation 1 version, and honestly, at the time, I didn't know what Capcom was or what an SNK was. I didn't even know that these were companies. I didn't even know these were the companies that made games like Mega Man or I might not even have known if Street Fighter was a thing at the time, but I was a young kid, so there was of course some things I wouldn't have known about. And Capcom being a company, and SNK, I guess, was two of those things. But yeah, so I remember watching my cousin playing this game. I loved the sense of style with this game. The soundtrack was banging. The I thought the title screen or the menu screen was cool as hell. I loved the announcer for this game. Years later, I found out the Dreamcast version existed, and seeing all those menu transitions, just all the menus in general in this game, the stage intros and shit looked so cool and so stylish. I loved the first game's sense of style so much. Um, and I have played it a couple of times over the years, and it is a fun game. I don't have, a lot of personal experience with it playing it myself, but I do remember seeing this game a lot when I was a kid and just thinking that this is like one of the coolest fighting games of all time, in my personal opinion. And it's a game that I always just come back to. Like, I always think about it every now and again. And it's a game I've wanted to play a hell of a lot more, and yet it's a fighting game I hold so near and dear to my heart because of just watching my cousin play it, but also just some of the few times I've played it and thinking this is a fun as fuck game. And just again, it was so stylish, and I loved this game's sense of style. I loved the soundtrack. I loved how, like, in the last round, it would play the game's main menu music or the game's main theme. Um, and to see this game come back means it gives me a chance to sit down and actually put a lot more time into this game, actually play it, maybe learn some stuff for this game. But yeah, that was also the game that I found out about the character Iori. Now, of course, not knowing what SNK was, I had no idea what Fatal Fury or King of Fighters, what have you, any of those games were. But I always thought Iori Yagami was like the coolest looking character in that game. I loved his design. Um, and I mean, what can I say? I always gravitate towards a character with a sick as fuck character design, and Iori to me was just one of them. Um, so needless to say, when I did get around to playing a King of Fighters game, Iori was like the character I would just pick. So, but yeah, that was how I got introduced to the character Iori, and I always thought that character was sick as fuck. But one thing I do also remember about the original PlayStation version was the long loading times. I didn't remember it so much during gameplay, because I know the PlayStation 1 version had it where, and I'm assuming it was due to due to the hardware or something like that, but that version had long loading times during each round, and I'm assuming it's just trying to load the character sprite for the next round. And those who've never played Capcom versus SNK, essentially it's a team-based game, but it how it works is it doesn't work like Marvel versus Capcom, in that it more works like King of Fighters. For those who've played that, but for those who haven't played that, you pick a team, and each round you either, if you lose a round, you just switch to the next character on your team. So that's just how it worked in that game, and that's how it worked in Capcom versus SNK. Um, and I'm assuming it was because it was trying to load the next character. So, but the Dreamcast version had these really cool transitions because it was able to load that stuff really fast. And the original PlayStation version, it would take a bit for it to transition to the next round. So, but yeah, I love that game. I love the game's sense of style. I love the announcer in that game. I'm honestly a sucker for the announcer from the original Capcom vs SNK. It's like this really, it's like robotic, yet it sounds so fucking hype at the same time. I don't know what it is. Um, dare I say, it's one of my favorite announcers. I love the CBS One announcer. So, but yeah, to see this game come back in this collection. I was expecting it to come back at some point, considering that I'd heard that Capcom and SNK had a really good relationship, and they were wanting to bring back Capcom versus SNK. But that's what I've heard. Also, like Terry is now in Street Fighter 6. I'm not sure if he just got released or anything, but I know he's being added into Street Fighter 6. I know he looks really odd in that game, but I digress. So, but it's really cool to see that Capcom vs SNK is finally making a return, and I know people like Capcom vs SNK too, a lot more. But me personally, and don't get me wrong, I can see why people prefer CVS2, but I have a huge preference towards the first game. Again, I just really like that game's sense of style. I've seen gameplay for CVS2. I've seen it a lot, being played a lot, but for me, nothing will just top the sort of charm that CVS One has. It has a sense of charm with like the menu transitions and whatnot. How like in the when you go to select your character, picking your groove first, picking Capcom or SNK, and in the Dreamcast version, it has like all these screens with with a bunch of different Capcom and SNK fighting games. But then it does like this cool zoom in, and then there's like a scene where it's like you're running down a subway station or some hallway, but then it has like this really cool like fast moving character select screen. Like this game's sense of style and is so cool. Um, and I absolutely fell in love with that shit. So even if CVS2 may be the better game, CVS1 to me just has a sense of charm that is unmatched. So, um, but I was talking about this with my brother the other day, and he thinks I'm crazy, but you know what? I don't care. That's just how I feel. So I love CVS1, if you couldn't tell. So some of the other features that are being added into this, or just some of the features that have been in past Capcom fighting collections, or just past Capcom game collections. So stuff like an art gallery, being able to listen to the music from all the games in the collection. Um, this collection will have online multiplayer with rollback netcode for casual matches and ranked matches. So and maybe some other features. I'll probably just list whatever shit I'm forgetting on screen. But point being, I'm so excited for this collection, especially to play Capcom vs SNK again. I'll definitely play the other games in the collection, but for me, it's Capcom vs SNK all day. I'll definitely be playing Power Stone as well because again, always wanted to play that. So yeah, coming out next year for PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC, and I'm super excited for it. So. Um, yeah, I just wanted to sit down and gush about Capcom vs SNK coming back, and yeah, let me know in the comment section below. Are you guys excited for this collection? I mean, Capcom has been on fire with bringing back a lot of their legacy content, and to see that that Capcom vs SNK is one of them. So happy for it. Maybe you'll get a new CVS game. Maybe CVS 3, hopefully. That'd be amazing. I don't know, but let me know in the comment section below. Out of all these games, all the games in this collection, what are you most excited to see come back? What are you most excited to play? Are any of these games that you're coming back to? Are you playing some of these games for the first time? Let me know. I'm really curious. So there you have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all next video. I'm CoffinSkate signing off, and have a great rest of your day.